Hey Geeks, welcome back to the Geeksider Show. My name is Josh.
And I'm Anna.
And in this video we're reviewing Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 5, titled Eastwatch.
And if you haven't seen this episode yet and you want to avoid any spoilers, you're going to want to skip this video and come back later because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler.
Speaking of spoilers, apparently the next episode has leaked in its entirety, so we will not be live streaming our watch party like we usually do because we want to avoid the spoilers in the chat because we are not spoiler people.
Yes.
So you have the hackers or whoever leaked this episode to blame for that. So, digging into Eastwatch, a lot went on in this episode. The first thing I want to talk about for this video is the teleporter in Game of Thrones. It's been it's been kind of a running joke in Game of Thrones that they get from point A to point B really fast. This episode took that to a level of complete ridiculousness.
Yeah, the ability to go from one place to another was really obvious in this episode.
It was real bad in the very beginning when Bronn and Jaime they emerge from the water, and they don't have horses or anything, so they're on foot, at least part of the way to King's Landing. But whoosh, they got there by the midpoint of the episode.
Yeah.
But the really bad one, to the point where it's just funny, was Davos. He went to King's Landing. From Dragonstone, picked up Gendry, went back to Dragonstone, and then accompanied Jon up north of the wall toward Eastwatch. It's like, wow, that dude covered a lot of ground in one episode. Remember how long it took them to get from Winterfell and King's Landing in Season 1? Well, now they're just zipping all over the place like they've got a TARDIS or something.
But there's a really interesting fan theory that would explain this crazy time travel ability, and that is that perhaps we are now viewing Game of Thrones through Bran's perspective, so we're only catching the highlights and we don't have to watch all the travel time anymore.
Because Bran is the three-eyed raven, he can see through time. Maybe we are seeing through time through Bran's eyes. I think it's a really neat theory. It doesn't really explain why the time skip has just now begun to accelerate, why it wasn't so fast earlier, but it's a really fun thing to think about.
Yeah, and it at least gives some sort of logical explanation for why suddenly they can get from point A to point B at the blink of an eye.
Aside from, hey, let's get this thing finished and move on.
Yes.
So I want to talk about my favorite moment from this episode. I'm sure I know what your favorite moment from this episode, so I'm going to lead with mine. And honestly, my favorite moment is the same as yours, but I'm going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to give something else. My favorite moment was seeing Gendry again. It's been forever since we've seen that guy, and he wields a warhammer just like his father, King Robert Baratheon. And I'm real excited to see Gendry again. I was worried that they would just kind of never broach him again, and it would just be this kind of mystery for the rest of Game of Thrones. So I'm super excited to see where his story goes. I hope he doesn't die.
It was really nice to see Gendry again. Obviously, anybody who's watched our streams or have watched our reviews knows what my favorite moment is. Jon Snow and Drogon. When he was petting Drogon, oh my gosh, I was like on the edge of my seat. I was squealing like a little girl. I freaking loved it. And if there was ever any doubt that he was a Targaryen, that squashed it. Well, that and
the scene with Sam and Gilly.
Yeah, with that and Gilly.
Yeah, and there's Sam basically ignored Gilly in that scene. It's going to come back up though.
Yeah, it is, and I kind of like that he ignored her because it's kind of funny that Gilly just gave the biggest revelation in Game of Thrones, and he's just like, oh, shut up, I don't care about these books.
Yeah. So it's going to come back up eventually. Sam will be like, wait, did Gilly said something about blah, 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 and then they'll figure it out and everybody will know. But Daenerys did notice that Drogon was allowing Jon to pet him, so I wonder if she's already suspicious.
Yeah, because
how many people have the dragons let touch them other than Dany?
Yeah, well, I mean, how many people have even tried?
Yeah,
nobody, because we are still in the belief that Tyrion is a Targaryen, but he has not even tried to touch a dragon. So this doesn't necessarily mean that he's not, because Jon was just brave enough to go ahead and try to touch the dragons. Tyrion's not there yet.
Tyrion did release them from the cave that one time when they were chained up.
And they didn't eat him.
They didn't eat him, but I don't think he petted them the way Jon did.
No.
It wasn't affectionate. It was, here, let's get you out of these chains, and you can be on your way.
Yes.
Another really important thing from this episode is I think Littlefinger is playing Arya. Well, Littlefinger is definitely playing Arya. That message that she found in his quarters from Sansa was something that she wrote way back in season 3 under duress because Cersei was going to have her killed. So that's something that the Maester held on to all the messages and stuff. Littlefinger dug it up, and now he's going to use it to his advantage and try to split the Stark sisters. I wonder if Arya's going to be able to see through that. She's pretty witty. She's pretty smart.
Yeah, she's
but
pretty savvy.
I don't know if she's savvy enough.
Yeah, because we didn't get, all we got was facial expressions from her. We didn't get any sort of verbal at all, so we don't know if she's buying it or not.
Right.
So we still have no idea where she falls on this information.
From the promo, it does look like Arya is going to confront Sansa. I gotta imagine Sansa will tell her what is going on with that letter, and if Arya will believe her or not, that's something else. Because they never got along when they were younger.
Yeah.
There's really no reason to believe they would now. They've both changed so much. So, I mean, maybe just a family loyalty would be enough, perhaps, for Arya to trust in Sansa, but I'm thinking Arya's gonna fall for it. I think she's gonna fall for Littlefinger's trick. What's gonna happen from there? No idea.
I'm hoping she doesn't. I hope she figures it out and Littlefinger is doomed because now Arya's pissed at him.
I hate Littlefinger so much.
Yeah, same here. I hate Littlefinger so much. But from the show perspective, Arya being at Winterfell is not really accomplishing anything, so it would be a good way to get her out of Winterfell. Instead of waiting for Jon, her and Sansa have a dispute, and then she continues on with her list and starts heading down to King's Landing.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, that makes the most sense in my head. That makes the most sense for the plot.
Last thing I want to talk about is the Magnificent Seven heading north to Eastwatch. I wonder who, because those are all some fairly major characters who are all leaving. Some of them are going to die.
Yeah, they're not all going to survive this.
I mean, in that group, there's Jorah, Jon Snow, obviously, Davos, the Hound, Tormund Giantsbane, Beric Dondarrion, I think, is in the group, and Gendry. So I can't imagine any of those characters dying. If I had to pick one, maybe Tormund, but that's all I got.
Yeah, maybe Tormund.
But Beric Dondarrion's, he keeps dying and coming back. Maybe they could kill him off for good this time?
Yeah, or he could die and come back.
Yeah, he could die and come back again.
I don't see them killing off Gendry, because they just reintroduced him. That would be awfully silly. And I don't see them killing off Jorah, because he finally got cured and he came back.
Yeah.
That would also seem very silly for him to die immediately on his first mission for his queen.
I don't see the Hound dying without confronting his brother, Zombie Mountain. So I think he's probably safe. Just the only characters that I think are, it's a terrible word, I know, but expendable at this point are Tormund and Beric.
Or maybe Davos.
Davos, maybe.
Because Davos isn't really necessary, but it would be a hurt to Jon Snow, so it would make sense.
I think his story is going the direction that he's going to command Daenerys' navy. So that's the best educated guess I have for who might die among the Magnificent Seven heading up toward Eastwatch. And I think that's all we have for this video. If you have anything to add, let us know down in the comments. It was so weird if you didn't do it too.
When I have a kitty
it's
cat.
Okay. If you enjoyed this video, you can tell us by dropping a like on it, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video on social media to help us grow our channel.
And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.